Let's talk about Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ros, the first book of the Letters of Enchantment duology. A book I've read over the last 4 Read With Me videos on Thursdays. And either you joined me or you've read the book before. Otherwise, you should be warned this video contains spoilers because I will discuss this whole book. So let's go talk about it. I wasn't really sure when I started the book if it is for me because all I knew about it is that this is romantasy and that it is very war heavy. And reading about war is not really what I want to do. I also don't read First War stories, Second War stories, so everything that has to do with that time. But I wanted to give it a try because this duology is super, super popular. And this is the story of Iris and Roman. They are rivals at work. They both work as journalists for a newspaper, and they are both in competition for a steady job there. But even if they hate each other because the other one is concurrents, they also admire the other's work. Not that they would ever say that out loud, but I really liked the energy between the two of them. And I also liked the rivals aspect here. Up until this point, when Roman found out who is behind the mysterious letters he got, because that's Iris. She wrote letters on her typewriter at home to her missing brother. He went to war and he promised to write her, but he never did. And she is concerned, and the best way to get these feelings out of her is writing him letters. Even if she never sent them to him, she put them in her closet and they just vanishes. She hopes they get to her brother, but instead they land in Roman's closet because their typewriter have a magic connection. Don't ask me why the closets are involved in this. I don't know, even after finishing this book. There is no reason for that. That they function as letterboxes because there is no magic in the closets. The magic is in the typewriters. So that was a little bit weird for me. And I wasn't sure what to think of the aspect that Roman figured out who is behind the letters, but he doesn't tell Iris his identity. I mean, he figured out pretty quickly that he's feeling more for Iris, not only at work, but more through these letters. And nonetheless, he doesn't tell her his true identity when he answers her letters. But I liked the aspect of the letters. I liked the whole storytelling here. I'm a big, big fan of the writing of Rebecca Ros in Divine Rivals. It is a little bit poetical, and I'm loving that. I fell in love with this writing. And I also fell in love with the development of the relationship between Iris and Roman and the character development of these persons. Because when Iris' mother died and she didn't get the job she wanted, she decided she's also going to war to work for another newspaper to write articles about the war and the situation there in the hopes that she can find her brother at the front. But that isn't that easy, and her mysterious pen pal is really concerned for her. which is why at some point he stopped writing her and Roman arrives at the front to join her in this job, to protect her, to be with her, to hopefully tell her who he really is and that he writes the letters she got. But of course, it is not that easy. There are a lot of concerns involved. But I was really, really happy when she finally figured it out and they could talk honestly about everything. So, all in all, a great story that I really, really liked. But why the hell was this book fantasy? There was absolutely no reason for it except Rebecca Ross and the publisher wanted to get this story to a fantasy readers group because let's be honest, the magic wasn't really there in this story except for the magic typewriters. And for me, the genre here was more magical realism, so a story based in our reality like World War One or Two, with a tiny little magic aspect that would have fitted the story more, but it would have made the story also more serious. Rebecca Ross would have needed to do a lot more research if this was magical realism. And I think that is why we got romantasy here, set in a world Rebecca Ross created. So she didn't need to do research. The whole story got a little bit lighter because of that, even if we are in war and we are also at the front, right where the soldiers are and where they are fighting. It didn't feel super, super serious and super dramatic, which is why I said because of the fantasy world, it is a little bit lighter. But the fantasy aspect of this fantasy world almost non existent, which annoyed me. But maybe we get there in book two, because in the last two chapters of Divine Rivals, we got a little hint that there will be more fantasy and more magic, that the gods that are fighting in this war are more involved. But as I said, that all came with the last two chapters here when Iris' brother appeared and we got a glimpse of his story and we also got a glimpse of Roman's future here, that they are bound to the god they didn't fight for in this war so far. We were on the other side here of the goddess, but the god, don't ask me for the name, I forgot, I'm sorry. But the god is from the underworld and he brought Roman and Iris' brother back from death. And with that, they were bound to this god. So they needed to fight for him, or will need to fight for him in Roman's case, which is a bit intriguing. Not great, I'm not happy about it, but intriguing for the whole story. And I'm really interested to see how the story will continue in book two. And I don't mean only the romance in this romantasy story. I also want to read more about this world, about this war, about the bigger situation, and I want to get into depth in the plot of book two. So hopefully I will get that. And hopefully, we will also see more of these side characters we had in Divine Rivals because I really liked them and I think they all also have a story to tell. So I am very happy that I finally read Divine Rivals and I will continue next week with Ruthless Vows, the second book of this duology. And we'll read this over the next 4 weeks. So stay tuned. I can't wait to discuss it with you. But at this point, I don't think I have much more to tell you about Divine Rivals. If you have any comments on this, if you want to discuss it with me, please write me a comment to this video. If you want to hear my thoughts on anything that I haven't discussed here, on certain details and scenes, put it in the comments. I can't wait to discuss Iris and Roman's story there with you. But for now, that's it. Please like the video, follow my channel if you wanna, and I will see you next time. Bye!